Hey, this is Anthony with RevZilla. Watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new REV'IT Blake Air Jacket available at RevZilla.com. This is the new Blake Air, part of the Blake family from REV'IT, new for spring of 17. Now there are two Blakes, and no, they don't work here. This is the first one. This is Juice wearing it. This is the Blake Air. This is going to be the most technical mesh jacket from REV'IT. And you can see here with its pre-curve and its external hard parts, it is a very serious jacket standing on the shoulders of Monaco cowhide in the impact areas. Now there is a regular Blake jacket, and that's going to be 3-season cold weather to this guy's 2 to 3-season hot weather. And that uses a quilted front, similar Monaco cowhide, and I believe there's going to be a hood as well. Now the other thing that jumps out that we absolutely love about the Blake family here, knowing you're going to be north of the $400 mark, is the Blake Air, just like the Blake, is using REV'IT SeeFlex Armor. And the SeeFlex Armor is going to be CE Level 2. So that's shoulders as well as elbows. You can always put a C-Soft type RV in, so you go CE Level 2 on the back. But notice, this is a left shoulder. It's asymmetrical, it's temp stable, it is going to be ventilated. This is new school from REV'IT. This is going to be SeeFlex. And this is one of the few jackets in the REV'IT line that gets that hardcore upgrade with the new SeeFlex. So again, north of the $400 mark and 2-season hot weather is truly the positioning. Now, if you notice, I have Juice to my left, 5'10", 195, about a 41, 42-inch chest. We have him wearing a size 50. Now, typically within the REV'IT line, he could be in between a 50 and a 52. We notice with all this 3D mesh, which is going to flow a ton of air, it actually gives him a little bit more room here. So he's solidly in a size 50. Keep in mind, though, if we look at this, super hardcore technical, it actually has a really hardcore race pre-curve. That's one of the things that could be a bit polarizing for you. Notice how that pre-curves. So if you're on an R9T, Ducati Monster, if you're on a cafe bike, again, it's more of an aggressive shape to this jacket. Keep that in mind. Use a size chart. Remember, we'll ship free over 39 bucks. And I'd love it if you click our logo, subscribe to us at RevZilla, leave us your comments, your questions, your feedback on the new Blake Air. Now, if I dive back into it, remember, this is Batman meets summertime. It's got all of this leather where it's supposed to be. It's got this hardcore race fitment, but it is using 3D mesh on the front and from the back. It's a premium mesh from REV'IT. It will flow a ton of air, but I will tell you that when I call it 2 to 3 season, it really airs on the side of 2. That's late spring, all summer, early fall, but you do get a little bit of extension from it because there's a thermal vest liner that's fully removable. Now, if you wanted to take a similar style and similar protection scheme and make it and take it from sport and go sport touring, look at something like the Ignition 2 that has that waterproof breathable liner as well as the thermal vest liner. But that's a very different animal where this is going to be more sport, hardcore Batman-ish, but again, give you that more race profile coupled with the technicality of the leather meets the ventilation of the mesh. Now, some of the other things they've kind of worked their way into this new school design from REV'IT. Notice the knit style collar and the knit style cuffs. Now I'm going to call out down here on the cuff, they're using an auto-locking YKK. And ultimately, we're just communicated with it on the final production version, this auto-locking YKK is going to go away. So keep that in mind. It's just going to be a fully 360 and Company knit style cuff. Now, if we look at the inside of the arm, you do have a Juice. You got to stop hitting the gym, man. You're killing me. But if we look at it, notice the 3D mesh going all the way up. Notice the ergonomics of this. It's meant to work with you. And again, it ties in with a minimization of panels, but you have that front center panel, you have the arms, and you do have a little bit of a darting or a triangular panel that goes underneath the sleeve, again, to give you a better range of motion. Now, hand warmer pockets on each side, and the thing I haven't really talked a lot about right now is the dual honeycomb sliders up here along the shoulder. This is a race jacket feature. This is a race suit feature. This is a coated aluminum hard part with the REV'IT logo on it for sliding and impact resistance, seated within a dual honeycomb, dual compound slider, which is there for having that TPU or that polyurethane for slide, abrasion resistance, but more importantly for shock absorption. So again, you're getting dual compound, and this is what we typically see off the most technical shoulders on anything that REV'IT would make. Now, you do have a little bit of reflectivity in the logo here across the left chest. I think it balances out the design nicely and it makes it a little bit more asymmetrical. Turn the face away from me, Senor Juice. If we look to the side here, notice the big leather gusset in the back. It is Monaco Performance cowhide, so it's 1.2 millimeter. That's race grade. And notice how that works its way in with the shoulders, with the lat, and then you get that elasticated panel up above the elbow. Again, allowing such an aggressive jacket to move with you. And remember, this is going to be SeeFlex. CE Level 2 is the new standard for limb armor at the shoulder, at the elbow. Very few manufacturers actually touching this at this point. It's nice to see REV'IT continuing to roll it out with their new school higher end armor. Moving down into the seat, Notice along the side we have a cinch. Turn backwards for me there, Juice. If we look at the back, big 3D mesh panels, again for exhaustion of air out the back. If we look down towards the seat, big drop seat, so if you're riding this in the upright riding position, you can get away with it, but REV'IT knows with the aggressive pre-curve here, 3/4 or tuck really could be the way you go depending on if you're on something like a naked bike or if you're on a cafe bike, you could really be in a more hardcore race position. Now, short connection zipper in the back. There's also going to be dual jeans loops if you want to keep it with your jeans and keep it locked down in case you have it off. Now come back around to the front for me there, Mr. Juice. If Tony unzips it, I'll unzip it for you. I don't know, I'm just your pal today. If we look behind the zipper, notice lots of attention to detail here on REV'IT. The zipper pull has attention to detail to it. It's nice, big, and beefy to be found with your gloved hand. Notice how they've quilted this behind there just from a style standpoint. And if we open it up, it's a 3D circumferential zipper. And you can see that by the way that it is over on this side. That's going to zip up just like that, exposing mesh on the inside and exposing also a 360-degree zip. Notice there is a pocket baked into your thermal vest liner, and you do have a Napoleon pocket. If you remove your vest, you are going to have a Napoleon pocket as well. Pockets on both sides. Again, very functional. You can zip that bad boy back up. But if we think about the Blake Air, 2 to 3 season hot weather, and then make sure you check out the original Blake, which again has a very unique quilting to it and is going to really go 3 season cold weather. Again, both of them, in my opinion, still DNA of the very successful Ignition 2 from REV'IT, which is really the multi-layered sport touring version, and call these their, if that was Gen X, these are more the millennial version of that jacket, both in a aggressive sport form as well as a more casual 3 season cold weather form. Now, the next step in your journey is to click the info button, your desktop, your mobile device. Visit the product detail page at RevZilla.com. Read other rider reviews of the Blake Air. You shouldn't just take my word for it. As always, we'll ship free for $39. If you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown. Remember, subscribe to us at RevZilla on our YouTube channel. Stay up to date with our opinion on the latest and greatest in the moto universe. You can also tune in. I yell juice all the time. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.